I personally think people are sleeping on this legend from the Wilds of Eldraine, mainly because everyone's kind of thinking about Hilda of the Icy Crown, which is a mythic that requires you to pay 1 mana whenever you tap to do something. But I challenge you to try Sharae. You just tap a creature and you draw a card. It triggers only once a turn, so it's got a lower ceiling, but the fact you don't have to pay anything additional makes this one something you probably need to give it a try and see how it does in this video, and I'll convince you that it might actually be better than Hilda of the Icy Crown. We go first against Mono Green. Love this hand. Monastery Mentor broken, especially combined with the fact we have 2 non-creature spells in our hand. If we can keep Monastery Mentor alive, I think we can just probably take the game over. Multani is it's an okay commander. It's nothing that scary. I'm more scared of what's in the 99. That's going to be far more opposing. Get rid of all the tap lands first, and then we can smooth out our lands with the untapped ones afterwards. Sharae is going to be really, really great against this green build. Lotus Cobra, I think we're going to definitely exile that, because that can just straight up win games. And we've just accidentally ramped him, but oh well. Do they actually have a land to put into play? If they don't, then GG's. Interesting that they... Okay, fair enough. So now you'll go for Monastery Mentor. The only thing that can really threaten this guy is a fight spell, but they only have a 1-1. But they could play something like a Death Toucher or a 2-2 and then use a fight spell in addition, so we're not out the woods yet. We could actually use Lauren on the third path to even kill the Kami if we wanted to. Beanstalk Giant. It's going to ramp them +1, so they're going to have access to 3, 4, 6 mana in the following turn, which means Multani will be slightly annoying, but again, it's just a beat stick. +1/+1 for each land you control, each land card in your graveyard. Yeah. I'm happy to tap that with Sharae and therefore making it kind of a redundant like card. Let's go for Search for a Scanter. They've got 2 mana up, which is a bit sus. Let's just swing in here. What are we going to have? Should I just leave these 2 up, or is Negate going to be effective? Nah. Let's just create another thing. I just had a feeling they were going to do something there, but clearly not. Mono Green is actually... I love facing Mono Green. It's just old school Magic. There's not going to be any of that BS until you get to Creative Behemoth levels, and, you know, it's always the same, isn't it? I don't... What was it? It was... I didn't have the Negate up, god damn it. Oh well. What was I going to say? Yeah, I had like an hour game today on Arena with this deck versus a green player, and it was going so well and so fun, and then suddenly this dropped to Creative Behemoth. I thought, oh, that's a shame. There was so much honour until that point. So yeah, that is a bit of a shame that we didn't have the Negate open there, because it's going to make it a lot harder. But we can just tap down this forest. And here's the interesting thing. By tapping down the forest, they're not going to be able to use it in the following turn, because it's going to be tapped still. That's pretty good. I need to draw a card as well. Hopefully we get a land, because I'd like to be able to keep applying things to the board. They now have access to 3 mana, so if they have a fight spell here, that would be bad as well. And it's really going to punish me for not keeping the 2 mana up for Negate. But then, you know, in my head, I was thinking they were going to play the 6th land and then Multani, but clearly that was not the right move. But here we are. We learned to deal with tactical missteps, I suppose. ECD, oh, that would have been so good. But instead, let's just try and tap down the forest. Land would be great, because then we can draw a card with Tome of Legends as well, and then ensure we can go ECT in the following turn. The tap in it here is almost as good. Ah, fantastic. That makes me very happy. Although it is crap land, at least we can guarantee the ECT the following turn. They do have a shed load of mana though, so that is a bit annoying, but we are going to try our best here. Worst case scenario, they play a 10-drop. So if it's Ulamog, we probably just die. Nissa is very, very scary. For just a rare, she feels like a mythic. And of course, rarity doesn't really mean too much. Doesn't mean too much when I mean, look at Sharae, it's an uncommon, but to me feels at least rare in the right shell. I think she's definitely pushed for an uncommon. I feel as though just one of the sentences would have actually made her really good here, but oh, 2 huge creatures, and she's going to make another. Yeah, this is pretty problematic. Okay. Land is actually weirdly fine. I just still think we go for Nissa, though. Because the double land thing is kind of freaking me out a bit there.
Cannot protect you anymore.
And there's no point drawing because we're not going to play it yet. So this is past the turn. It's tempting to maybe block with one of our creatures just so we can resurrect something with the ECD, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see what they do. They've got 7 mana for the Beanstalk Giant. But yeah, getting rid of the Nissa does slow them down quite a bit. The Ancient Green Warden is interesting. It suggests they have a lot of landfall synergy. If they play like the Scoot Swarm, we could be in trouble here. And weirdly enough, judging for the Beanstalk Giant, I'm just not that bothered. That's got a trample, and that doesn't. They're just going to swing in with a 5/7. Interesting. Okay, this makes a lot more sense. Let's draw a card to kind of see what we're going to get out of this. Just to land. Yeah, we'll chomp the 5. Trample. Okay, so I would love to have more things to tap. Oh my goodness. Okay, Brav's expertise is actually incredible here. Let's draw a card with Tome first, just to see if we can get anything else. Okay, so Brav's expertise. We can bounce to biggest guys, I suppose. If we bounce the lands, so they go away forever. No, I still think we want to take the highest power off the board. And then we can put down Loran, which doesn't actually kill anything, sadly, but yeah, that Brav's expertise has definitely saved us. We'll put Loran in just because she can draw us a few cards, and that can be pretty useful. Submit 0. I'm just going to swing with that, because if they attack in, I actually think I will block here, because I'm going to be a bit greedy with the ECD. I want to get something back, considering we literally have nothing. The Search for Scanter not finding us too much. Question is, will they actually attack? They will. Yep. So if I do that, then they're definitely going to kill the Sharae. And then we can just bring it back, tap something else, draw a card. I could double. So what's going to happen if I double block? If I double block, I'll kill it. And then you know what? I think double's actually better here. Because as I said, I want to get something back with the ability. Yeah, so they go for the Monetary Mentor. That was an interesting attack. Yeah, just blocking with Sharae would have been pretty greedy, just to tap something, but okay, now the tables have turned here. The Teferi's going to really tick him off. And I think the Monastery Mentor is just MVP in any deck you build.
I know my responsibility.
Bounce to Multani. Man, I think we're really ticking them off. They when they had the Nissa out, that was the critical turning point when we killed that, 100%. Certainly drawing a lot of lands. And the Tome of Legends here proving to be pretty incredible, just to give us some value every turn. And this also synergizes really well with the Watcher in the Water, which is the big octopus of Lord of the Rings, because it lets you draw stuff in your opponent's turn, and the Watcher in the Water wants you to draw things in your opponent's turn. And Tome of Legends is one of the few things that lets you do that consistently. So, okay, if they're just playing stuff like Neverwinter Bride, I wonder what. I feel as though they're looking for mana, because otherwise they would have played Ancient Green Warden or the Multani. Oh man, we absolutely. That was going to be a really interesting game to see what would have come about, but I feel like we really slowed them down for these 4 cards in their hand were probably huge spells that they then couldn't cast. And yeah, we were going to dominate there. Search for Scanter, searching for something else. Tome of Legends, drawing more things. And Teferi. Wow, that was a good comeback. All right, I want to try this hand out. We've got the Hilda and the Verity Circle, so things are going to get pretty juicy. Beckett Brass, so they can steal all of our things, which is... we don't need to reveal anything, do we? But we're just going to freak him out. We'll freak him out by doing that. And there are Grixis builds, so they're going to have lots of interruption spells and ways to maybe counter our things, but we'll see. I think we're just going to straight up fragmentize that and slow them down a bit. Underrated card this is, really underrated. Most people use Artifact Rocks if they're non-green, so fragmentizers, yeah, I always forget to put it in every deck, but this is pretty good. Okay, so this guy, sack a creature, create 2 treasures. Sack 3 treasures, draw a card. A lot of looping going on there. So yeah, we'll go for Verity Circle, which means whenever we tap their things now, we can just draw cards, which is quite good. If they play the Beckett Brass, we can probably go for the Sharae, tap it down. Again, really good against combat decks because obviously when things are tapped, they're not attacking, and Admiral Beckett Brass wants you to attack. And if they use removal on an uncommon, I am happy about that. Although this is actually the weaker card. So let's tap down the 4 power there. Oh, no, it was already tapped. Interesting. Yes, okay. Yes, I forgot about that. If you tap something that's already tapped, it doesn't count. So I've actually missed out on 2 cards there, foolishly. Foolish move from myself. And you'll be shouting in the comments, but okay, we'll still probably win this game. We will still probably win. Right, let's attack first. They've got 5 mana open. If they don't have a spell to disrupt us or a counter spell, I'll be very surprised. Let's try Shredder first. If that resolves... Interesting. I don't want to lose the Sword of Once and Future... I always want to say Once and Future King. But no, I'm going to try and use the Fateful Absence in their turn, I think. 6 mana. Scary. They can go for the boluses. Any of the bolusizers. Okay. Bolusization. If they attack, we'll go for the Beckett Brass. I feel like they're going to have a counterspell of some variety. They left the blue up. No, interesting. And we'll just take the 3 here. I'm still a bit gutted about not drawing 2. That could cost us, but I've got a good feeling about this. Especially because Verity Circle will pay 5 to tap something anyway. Stormfleet. Oh, tap 2 creatures. Discard. What's the CMC of this thing? Oh, I love it when it conceals the information. 2 drops the portable hole. Although, I like these other cards better. And we do have a flying blocker, I suppose. Invasion of Gobakhan. Let's see what's in their hand. Okay. Revel in Riches. Yep, see you later. That's a win con. Well, it's not see you later. It's just see a bit later on. Not yeah. Okay. So we can tap 2 things there. We're not going to get to draw a card because it's not kicked. But this is actually fine because we can actually kill the Invasion of Gobakhan as well. I don't really want to discard either of these cards, but... Very Mastermind. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. So now we can just kill the Invasion with the Ledger Shredder. And we get to draw some cards. Right, there we go. Nice. Go for the tap land. Okay, so we're doing pretty well here. And these aren't going to untap. Oh no, only if it was kicked. would they have stun counters? Okay, fine. We'll be taking 5 in their turn. It's good because we want to flip this, and then now we get counters on each creature that attacked. And we can protect our guys by sacking this, giving our creatures hexproof and indestructible. So yes, I think we've done pretty well to stabilise. Make it brass. So 3 or more pirates have to deal damage for them to steal something. But they're not going to be able to block our once and future. So we can then use a spell from our graveyard again. Dovin's Veto is good. Let's give it to Sharae. Leave up the Dovin's Veto. I think we'll leave up the Ledger Shredder just in case as well. I don't want to be foolish here. 16, trigger cast a spell. Put the authority in the graveyard. Although that's a good way to... I guess by killing the brass, we reduce the power a bit. We'll get rid of the gate. Nice. So by sacrificing the Mind Stone, it's going to be a bit harder for them to get the Beckett Brass out, which is going to cost, what, 4, 6, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, fine. They will still be able to cast her. But now we have the Dovin's Veto to protect our squad from any board wipes. Or even the Revenant Riches if they choose to go for that. But it's getting a bit risky because they could have lethal on us very soon. I like games like this because it's just a bit different. You rarely see Admiral Beckett Brass decks. They're looking at what instant sorcerers are in a graveyard, so we can only cast the Fragmentize using these sort of once in future. So they probably shouldn't be too afraid of that, but the protection from blue and black is what I'm really interested about here. And the Ruthless Knave is done quite a bit of damage to us. I think it's something like, what, 12 damage maybe? So what are they going to do? They're going to not do anything. Interesting. Well, they can't block with either of those. Okay. Well, let's go to combat then. They've got so much mana up again. They're probably going to go for the unexpected windfall. They can take a few hits. They can. Don't forget, Verity Circle can be used defensively as well. Seeing as you can just tap creatures without flying. The flavour on this is very peculiar. I guess putting them in a timeout zone on the naughty step. So if we discard this... Sorry, if we counter the veto, they've just lost a card for no reason. So, but the thing is, the windfall doesn't actually hurt us. So I'd rather just save it for something that kills our team. Probably would be better. Rivendell and Boromir. Yeah, I'm happy to have Boromir. And this kills one of the treasures, which is fine. Just a bit of incidental value. Spectral Sailor. Okay. So that's going to trigger that. Discard the land. Okay. So they can't block with that either, then. That's the interesting part. So let's go for Boromir to save our team. And yeah, do that. But they do have flyers. So let's tap 1 and 2. Yeah, because they want to steal something with the Admiral Beckett Brass, don't they? That's the issue I'm having here. I guess I'll pay 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason for doing this is because I want to leave the veto up in case they have a counter spell. Otherwise, we just lose something. Lightning Bolt. They're using the Lightning Bolt? Okay, well, I'll use the Light Shield Array then. That was a weird play because they could have just used the lightning bolt to, like, kill us, right? Eventually. And we just drew extra cards. Wow, we drew so many cards from that. That is crazy. Yeah, because this triggers for every tap, whereas Sharae only triggers for one tap or more. I think this was the right thing to do. I don't mind taking one. Treasure map. Again, doesn't kill us. It does let them scry things to the bottom. And they're going to start drawing with the Castle Lock Thwain. Okay. So do we just win here? They can't block the Sharae. They can block the Ledger Shredder. Boromir can save our team. Glasspool Mimic. Oh. Wow. Okay. Even with our mistakes, we won through there. And they had a lot of value as well. So you can see the power of this deck even through mistakes. And considering our next turn was going to probably be game over anyway, I think, yeah, the writing was on the wall. So yeah, this is a pretty decent hand versus an Arcades Defender deck. Another nice, fun opponent for a change. I feel like the meta might have shifted slightly, I'm not sure. Could just be because I'm using an uncommon, but I'm playing on a Saturday, which is traditionally very, very bad for sweaty players, but today's not been too bad yet, but might be speaking too soon. Got some really sick pulls here. This is almost best of. Best of Azorius, but we are at a slight hindrance. We're playing uncommon, apparently. Growing Rights. Yeah, let's veto that. That is freaking insanely good. We could even kill the Paradise Druid if we wanted, but do we want to do that here? Or do we want to... Do we want to... Yeah, I think so. We could have got Arcades, but we've still got the swords for him. This is a pretty good start, I have to say. Just keeping up with the removal. So they go for Arcades. They're not going to be happy about this, but we are going to swords it. Because we don't want them to draw any additional cards. We are absolute meanies, but this is how to play 1v1, guys. Absolutely brutalization. So if you want a masterclass of how to win, it's essentially tempo plays or stop your opponent from doing things one after the other. And you might not like that, but that is how Historic Brawl works now. Yeah, essentially this was a weird little pep talk for you. Moving on to the next game. Alright, I think this is a pretty decent hand. The curve on this is excellent. It's blooming exquisite, in fact. Especially going second with a low Warhound, that's going to work out really well. Okay, so hopefully we get to Mana Tithe their second spell here. No? Cheeky. I guess we'll just hold off a bit longer then, if that's the case. The bigger the spell, the better it is. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And all that stuff. So, we'll go for the Loyal Warhound, I think. Seeing as they have more lands than us. It's always scary when people don't play stuff early, because it just makes you think, what on earth have they got, you know what I mean? Now, they can actually go for the Omnath here, but we still have the Tithe, so... lols, if that's the case. I find a lot of people don't get them out early, which I think is a mistake. I definitely would. Definitely would, if possible, get him out early. Attack in. Let's go for the Basri Cat here, see what they have. Counter spells? Fair. Okay. Oh well. Counterspell in Omnath build. I don't know how I feel about that. So they're playing around Mana Tithe. That is very strange. That is very strange. Let's try and tap it down. We have got the Mana Tithe still in case they try and be a cheeky beggar. Come on, boy. I mean, annoyingly, they still get to use their abilities, but it's not going to be hitting us the next turn at least. But if they do reveal something big off the top, they do get three mana. So you may reveal that card if it has 3 more coloured symbols. If you do, add 3 mana and put it in your hand. Okay, so then it basically says draw a card, right? It's a very long-winded way of saying draw the card. and getting a bit more mana boost. Solitary Sanctuary. Oh, that's such a beautiful illustration. I like that. Solitary Sanctuary. Elsa's Castle, right? Or it was like some kind of frozen Disney thing. Watcher. How many more counter spells do we think they're going to use here? Go for the throat. Okay. Okay. Wait, I'm so confused here. They used to go for the throat on Sharae when we were about to play the Watcher. What? And then the... Oh, I see. The mana doesn't leave the mana pool. Right, okay. Okay, that is quite annoying. I was a bit confused what they were doing there, but yeah. The mana becomes black, though. Torvald? I mean, it's just a good card, isn't it? I've never been so confused, but it's not to say it's just a wrong build. It's just the cards I'm seeing are... It's just not what I'm used to seeing in the meta. Maybe the meta's shifted. Who knows? And a Firemind Vessel. They are really cautious about Mana Tithe, aren't they? They are really cautious about it. No blocks. Okay. They're down to 11. Intriguing. We've got 2 mana up. I really want to get rid of this Corvold. Can we resolve Sharae? How scared are they of an uncommon commander? So stopping Corvold from attacking can be legit. Heliod's Intervention. Okay. That's good. Do they want to block with an elf? An elf which could be fodder to the Corvold, but the Corvold can't attack. Down to 8. They do have the Shadow Spear, though. So we have to be wary that they can just gain a bunch of life soon. And I really want to be able to draw stuff in their turn, but we can't do that just yet. We might want to use Stall for Time in the next turn, depending on what assets we have available. We've got a lot of juicy things going on here. We just need to remove one of their threats. They've got 6, 7, 8. Genesis Ultimatum. This can be scary, depending on what they hit. It's one of the least scary ultimatums. Okay, so they did just draw 3 and get 2 of the best cards in the game out, but... Okay. Yeah, this is bad. They've only got 2 to 3 mana open, though. Oh no, the Cura can untap Firemind Vessel. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 5 mana potentially. Or they're going to untap the Corvold. That is cheeky. Yeah, we might be in trouble now, because the Cura makes things pretty obnoxious. Yeah, that's changed the entire flow of the battle, I have to say. Getting rid of that guy, they're going to gain tenure to 18. We go to 4. We could just block the Omnath. Yeah, I think we block the Omnath, depending on what else they do here. Corvold. Corvold's not even their commander. FYI. Okay. And it's got 2 mana. What's next? Interesting. They're going to have 3 mana open in our turn. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have to discard a card. Interesting. Whereas Expertise. Is that going to resolve? We've got blue mana open. I mean, this is a really sick card, to be fair. I think we just have to try it, don't we? If they have a 3 mana counter, we counter it with our Mana Tithe. God's Willing. They're going to give it protection. Okay, that is not good. Possession from blue. Intriguing. We still might be okay, depending on what else they do here. So now we can put in the Wanderer, which means we can exile the Corvold, because it's tapped.
I've learned much
And they gave it Pro Blue.
Let me show you.
Nice. Suddenly I feel a lot safer. Like, that's not to say we're not out of the woods. And yeah. Okay. That was a very lucky sequence of turns there. Okay, so Chromatic Orrery. Damn, it's a shame they didn't tap out for that. Also, the fact that they can untap that for 5 more mana is devastation for us. So they've got 10. They've got 13 mana if they want to. I'm not a fan of this. So much ramp. Kaya. Strange builds. Okay, so they could exile the Watcher or something if they want to. So they're going to get a 1/1 version of the Watcher. Intriguing. I have 6 mana left. Man, they have played around Mana Tide this entire game, which is kind of crazy. Kind of impressive, isn't it? How they have actually managed to do that. The Kaya is going to be an absolute pain here, but Joda, so they have 1 mana open yet again. Draw another card. As if it makes the Watcher bigger as well. That's crazy. Okay. So we can get rid of the Joda, we can get rid of the Kaya. We don't even have to get rid of the Joda, we can just tap it.
We've got the edge in this fight.
Tap 2 creatures, stun them. Or we can go for... That's not going to tap anyway, that's fine. I think we're just going to use the Solitary Sanctuary on the Joda here. Which means we get to make Sharae bigger and we get to draw a card. Obscure Polymorphous. That's going to come in handy. Kill the Kaya. Question is, do we just use the Heliod's Intervention and get rid of the 2 things? I think I'd like to do that and get away with it. I just don't feel like... I don't feel like we are going to get away with it. They have so much mana, though. Let's just give it a try. I mean, this is 10 mana when you combine it with the Kiora, so... Interesting. Do we have a chance? Who knows? The Joda's going to be irritating as well, because obviously it lets them cascade into stuff. Oh, and I keep forgetting they can untap with Kiora. I keep forgetting that. But we just gained 7 life. And also didn't give it Shadow Spear. Didn't they want to gain 7? That would have been one. That would have been one hell of a swing. Gained half their life back. Omnath, cascade into Legend. It's funny because it feels like everything in their deck is the commander apart from Omnath. As if they draw 2 cards as well. What the fudge? Yeah, I think we're just well and truly screwed here. But not for lack of trying. The Kiora has proved to be pretty irritating. Man, if we had a board wipe. Yeah, I don't think we can get back from this, unfortunately. Just because... I mean, we'll give it a go, right? Let's go for the Teferi. Do a bit of diggage. Come on. Come on. Well, that's not a board wipe. Ward 1. Five mana. Tap 2 things. Exile 1 thing. Just trying to exile the Joda, I think. That is just so insanely powerful. Okay, and I guess we'll try and slow down the Omnath as well. Gain control of up to one target artifact. I mean, we could steal the Shadow Spear, but that isn't really going to help us, is it? Let's be honest. It's gaining 3 when they've got all this stuff anyway. And they've got 7 cards in hand. Okay. If this would become untapped, remove a stun counter instead. That's interesting. So it doesn't work with Kiora. Kiora just basically... It fizzles any untap, including the untapped steps. That's kind of interesting the way that works. 10 mana up. Fiery Emancipation equals triple damage. So Rafine does... Oh, shizzle manizzle. They give it the Shadow Spear. It's +1. So it's 2. 6 damage if that hits us. Even the Connive. So they discard any non-land. That's an extra damage as well. That's 2, 3, 6. They're going to have Embercleave. Spectacular finish. No Embercleave. Okay. And a Dryad. See if we're not dead. I'm surprised about this. I think Kyora's been the MVP for them, you know. So honestly, it's done so much work. More than freaking Kaya. It untapped this twice, didn't it? Untap the Omnath, okay. So clearly maybe they didn't read how that works. Well, I need an answer, so we're gonna have to dig here.
Only time will tell.
Come on.
Like a change of plans to keep things fresh.
Loran. Loran's kind of good because it kills the Emancipation. I mean, it could also kill the Dryad, but that's the least of our worries right now. Kill the Fiery Emancipation here. So this... there's a lot of issues. We can do some shenanigans, though, in their turn. Although if we tap things... If we tap things now, we can actually kill the Kiora. And maybe that's actually... Or we can go for Dragon Turtle. Tap it and up to 1 creature opponent controls. That could be good, because it means... Yeah, killing the Kiora is actually pretty important here. Counter. Put a counter on here. Man, if we win this... Surely there's no way we can win this.
Just gonna slip away.
Okay, well, we'll see. It's the Shadow Spear that's going to really bugger us over here. Hidetsugi and Kairi. Ooh, that's a scary one, because that's... Well, you can see why it's scary. It's 5 flying. 5 flying, Brainstorm, and when it dies, exile the top card of the library. We lose life equal to its mana value. If they have a way to sacrifice this, we are probably dead. Tyrannix Rex. Holy crap. Well, this deck is so strange, right? They've just got all sorts of weird stuff. Tap up to 2 things. Well, we can't tap the Tyrannix Rex. Tap those 2. Play the ward. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is interesting. Right, let me just have a think about this. So let's have a think about this. If they swing in with the Tyrannix Rex and we block with this, we take 6. Go to 1. So we're going to put the counters on the Obscure Polymorphist, because we can't... There's no point putting it on here, really. Holy shit. I don't normally swear, but... Oh no, Connive! No! No, 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 no! Oh no. 7. Oh, we screwed up. I forgot about the freaking Rafine ability. Yeah. Oh well. Damn. That would have been insane. If we had got a turn, they would have had nothing out, and we would have had Time Warp and the Obscure Polymorphist 5 damage. If we tapped something, it would have been 6. Oh my god, we could have maybe won. But yeah, I completely forgot about the connive when you attack with any creature. The fact this has got ward 4, trample, haste, can be countered. Yeah, that was pretty lucky of them to get that, in addition to literally everything else. But yeah, I made a few mistakes there, so I completely accept it. All I had to do was put one of these counters on my Loran, and I would have had an extra. I would have been at 1 life. Oh well, we live and we learn. This bloomin' Rafine, really irritating. So to iterate what I said in the beginning of the video, the other reason I think Sharae is actually better than Hilda is because Hilda doesn't actually do a single thing by itself. She does literally 0, because she requires you to tap stuff and then pay 1. But as I said, the ceiling is higher, so I understand that's very beneficial. But Sharae can neutralize an opponent's creature for 2 turns, which allows you to swing in and just really disrupt your opponent's plans. She comes in, you tap a creature opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. And then whenever you tap one or more untapped creatures your opponent's control, draw a card. So only once per turn. Now, you can actually abuse this by tapping things in your opponent's turn as well. But there's just so many synergy pieces that you can decide exactly what you want to do. You might even decide you want to put Panharmonicon in the deck, but I decided against it. I just wanted to use a slot for other things. But if you do want to use Panharmonicon, feel free to use it. But remember, the trigger only applies once anyway, so even if you tap 2 things, it's still going to only draw you 1 card. Some of the best abilities and spells in the deck that are just going to net you cards. Let's go through and have a look. So Freeze in Place is pretty good. Tap a creature, put 3 stun counters on it, and scry 2. This is actually... I don't think people realise how incredibly good this is. 3 stun counters. So they skip 3 untapped steps. This is essentially like a pacifism effect. It's just incredibly good. And now I'm reading this out loud, I think, why don't I have this on paper? And I might have to, because this is just a good... It's just a good removal spell when you consider most games don't even last that long. 3 turns is humongous. Impede Momentum is really good. Tap 3 stun counters, scry 1. I really like this design space. It's freaking awesome. We have Dragon Turtle, which comes in and taps itself and another creature. An opponent controls until you choose to untap this. So that's an interesting way to kind of get rid of one of their attackers or blockers. Verity Circle, probably best card in the deck. Whenever something becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, you draw a card. Against green, this is kind of broken, because whenever they tap the mana, you're going to draw a card as well. Freaking insane. Succumb to the Cold, tap up to 2 creatures. Stun counter each. You're going to draw with Sharae out. Scholar of Isilda lets you tap 2 creatures on phase 2, which is really nice. And obviously, everything that comes in tapped synergizes with Hilda as well. So if you happen to have Hilda out, congratulations, you're going to be doing double icy thingy bubs. Teferi taps things. You've also got Kiora, which taps all of your opponent's things. And you've got the Watcher in the Water, which is kind of interesting. If you draw a card during your opponent's turn, you create a 1/1 tentacle. And then when the tentacle dies, you can untap 1 target Kraken you control. And then you can put a stun counter on an opponent's creature. Bear in mind, it doesn't tap it, just put a stun counter on, but it's still good if you do tap it afterwards. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome deck. The shell's incredible. I've been having a lot of fun with this deck, and it's very strong. This is weirdly very, very strong commander. Do not sleep on it. Check out the deck list in the description below if you want to give it a go. And you can support the channel by going onto my Patreon link in my description box below, or my Ko-fi link, and you can donate as much as you want, and every little helps. So thank you for everyone who has already donated, and yeah, to anyone who will donate in the future, thank you very much. Did you know that you can help my channel by watching another one of my videos? Go ahead, you know you want to.